Well, good morning. And let's start. The very first thing that how your journey will go through in your whole of the chartered accountancy course. Let us first talk about that today. And then we'll start with our subject of accounts. Yesterday, I told you many of the chapters, many of the topics which are there in your 11th standard, which are there in your 12th standard. The similar kind of topics is what we have at CA foundation level. And that is going to make a lot of difference for you people. You'll be having the additional kind of advantage of that, because as far as the subject of account is concerned, you are going to solve it similar to what you're going to do in your 12th standard. The only difference will be here in CA foundation, you'll be having more depth in the questions. You'll be having more detailized conceptual questions, and therefore you'll surely be having the kind of fun in solving those all questions when you are going to solve it at your 12th standard, because you'll be finding the kind of ease, comfort when you're solving that at 12th standard. But anyways, let me first start with the journey that we are going to travel over the period of time. I'll just put the whiteboard in here because this thing is not working. Just at the very top, you have what you are currently doing is CA Foundation. And this CA Foundation is going to come in May of 2022 for you. Of course, for this, you have started doing the studies in April of 2021. So your starting point is April of 21, and this will go on up till the CA foundation, which you are going to give in your May of 2022. So this is very important. This particular month is very much important for you. Now, what will happen is in this particular month of May 2022, the foundation exam which you are going to give, in this particular exam, you'll primarily be having 4 different papers, which will include here the paper of accounts, ये कॉपी नहीं करता है क्या? When using it for the first time. हाँ, पहले आप लोग अप्रैल में एंजॉय किया करते थे, अब तुमको स्विफ्ट करनी पड़ेगी. बहुत गंदा था, मेरे को पता है. Then you have, so you have got in all 4 papers in here. I'm talking about 4 papers. I'm not saying 4 subjects. Right? The very first in that is the paper of accounts, what we call as principles and practices of accounting in the ICI language. Then you have the paper of business laws, which is for 60 marks. You have the paper of BCR, business correspondence and reporting, which is for 40 marks. Right? Now, yesterday someone was asking, sir, when the BCR or BCK lectures will start. With the due time, everything will start. So you need not worry about it. Right? Then you have the subject of maths, which includes maths, for 40 marks, stats for 40 marks, and logical reasoning, that is LR, for 20 marks. These are the topics that you have in your next paper, that is the subject of mathematics. All right. Mathematics till now was Maths 1 and Maths 2 for you, if you remember. Right. But now that Maths has been expanded to mathematics, statistics, and logical reasoning. Now, in this case, this is one of the fantastic things that is done by the ICAI by bringing the subject of logical reasoning into that, by bringing the subject of statistics into that. They've done seriously good what they've brought in the form of math, stats, and logical reasoning. And then, because LR is a subject which was there at your MBA entrance kind of exams. तो अब अगर आपको वो entrance की preparation अगर करनी है, तो that has already been done at your foundation level. There are so many topics which they have covered, which are surely useful for you people when especially it comes to the competitive exams. Like अगर आप MPSC, UPSC की भी exams का observation करो, even at that point also they have this subject of logical reasoning, and one of the very important subject that they have. The next one is business economics, which is for 60 marks, and business commercial knowledge, BCK, is for 40 marks. This is how the division of marks and the overall topics is there in your CA foundation level. Now, out of that, if you would observe these two papers, the first two papers, if you will just make an observation with, these two papers are the subjective papers, whereas these two papers are the MCQ based papers. So here, if I would just write the subject of accounts, business laws, business commercial knowledge, these are the subjective papers. That means you have to actually write those papers. And for these papers, you get 3 hours and 15 minutes in the examination for the 100 marks. Whereas for the subjects of maths, BCK, maths and economics, which are MCQ based papers, these two papers, you'll be getting 2 hours in the examination for the 100 marks paper. This is how that is totally divided, right? I hope I'm going fine for everyone. Is this process going good for everyone?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's good. Fantastic. Now, here you get for the subject of accounts, business law and commercial knowledge, correspondence and reporting, for a period of 3 hours and 15 minutes. अब तक के आप समझते थे कि यार हमें समय कम पड़ता था, यहाँ तो 15 मिनट एक्स्ट्रा मिल रहे हैं. This 15 minutes is especially the reading time that the ICAI has started now. For last 2-3 years, they've been doing it. Now, why this 15 minutes? What happens normally जब आप एग्जाम्स देते हो, तो आपको पहला आंसर शीट दिया जाता है, उसमें आप अपना नाम, गांव, पत्ता, रोल नंबर वगैरह वगैरह भर लेते हो, और उसके बाद आपको क्वेश्चन पेपर दिया जाता है कुछ देर के बाद, एंड देन यू स्टार्ट सॉल्विंग योर पेपर. बट हियर द थियरी इज एब्सोल्युटली रिवर्स. यहां आपको पहले क्वेश्चन पेपर दिया जाता है. You read the question paper, you understand the question paper. Why? Because they give you a time to understand and decide that from where you want to start with your paper. That is the beauty. और दूसरा, अगर आप सीए इंटरमीडिएट फाइनल में चले जाते हो तो वहां आपको पहला 15 मिनट इसलिए दिया जाता है, भाई डिसाइड कर ले कि अभी बैठना है या अगले एग्जाम में वापस आना है. So that's how it is, you know. No, seriously, because at CA intermediate, CA final, the moment you get the question paper, you understand कि ये इसी अटेम्प्ट में अपन पास होने वाले हैं, इसके लिए अपने को अगले अटेम्प्ट में आना पड़ेगा. And accordingly the people decide, you know. Well, ऐसा नहीं होता है, but that 15 minutes is basically for the purpose of reading and understanding the paper and going through the things, right? The next one, that is the next point that we have is this paper, for the paper of accounts, it is for full 100 marks. The paper of law is for 60 marks, BCR is for 40 marks. Now, even though the papers are divided into the subjects, does not mean that the passing criteria is also divided. Passing criteria is for the whole paper. You have to pass in this whole paper. You have to pass in this whole paper. You're supposed to pass in this whole paper. You're not supposed to pass only in the respective subjects, right? Now, what is the passing criteria? Let's talk about that. The passing criteria is a dual criteria. That is individual paper. Minimum 40% is what you are supposed to get, and in aggregate, now this is fantastic. आप बोलोगे सर ये तो मतलब हद ही हो गई, आज तक के हम लोग इंडिविजुअल पेपर भी 40%, 35% पासिंग में खुश हो जाते थे, अब तो ये आपने नया एग्रीगेट भी लगा दिया. In aggregate, it should be minimum 50%. This is a unique criteria for the professional exams. Whether it is chartered accountancy, whether it is company secretary, whether it is CMA, why it is unique is till now, अब तक के आप जितने भी एग्जाम्स देते आए थे, आपको सिर्फ सब्जेक्ट पास करना होता था. But now you're not supposed to pass only the respective subject. You have to also clear on a totality basis. Now, what do I mean by totality basis? I'm just trying to scroll down only, but there is no option coming yet. Now, what is this totality basis passing? The totality basis passing means that first you will be required to crack in all the subjects. अब जहां तक बात है सब्जेक्ट ऑफ अकाउंट्स, लॉ और बीसीआर की, यहां किसी भी तरह का नेगेटिव मार्किंग नहीं होता है, क्योंकि आपने जो लिखा है, जो प्रेजेंट किया है, उसी के हिसाब से तुमको मार्क्स मिलेंगे. Whereas when it comes to the subject of maths and economics BCK, here you have the specific criteria of negative marking. यहां अगर आपने किसी क्वेश्चन का करेक्ट आंसर दे दिया तो you get +1 mark for that. Here, if I just make a point in this case, for the subject of maths and eco I'm talking about, if you give correct answer, you get +1 for that. If you give wrong answer, then you get -0.25 for each wrong answer. That is -1 for each 4 questions. And if you keep any answer blank, then there is no addition, no deletion. This is applicable only for the subject of maths and business economics and BCK. This is not applicable for the other subjects. All right, I'm talking about these points, if you remember. Now the criteria, the further point is what? That I said individually you should get 40% per paper, and per paper, I'm again and again highlighting on this. You have to get 40% in total on this. In total. You have to get 40% in total in this, 40% in total in this. You're not supposed to get 40% in business economics separately and 40% in business commercial knowledge separately. on a totality, on a combined basis, you are supposed to get those marks. All right. Now that you have got 40%, along with that, चारों पेपर्स की टोटल मिलके भी मिनिमम 200 होनी चाहिए. Is there marks for our solved steps in the subject of accounts? Yes. In the subject of accounts, in the subject of law and BCR, whatever steps, whatever points you have covered, for that you get the marks. So ICAI does not check the papers on totality basis. ICAI checks the paper on the wholesome basis कि आपने कितना सही solve किया है, and accordingly you get the marks. Right? So don't worry on that part कि हम लोग अगर सर part of the answer ही correct हुआ तो फिर क्या होगा हमारा, will we be getting the marks for that? Yes, of course. As far as the presentation is concerned, you are expected to be presentable, but only for drawing the lines, only for drawing those खोखाs, you don't get the marks. Like it happens in the 12th standard कि तुमने trading P&L account का format भी अगर अच्छे से बना लिया तो तुमको marks मिल जाते हैं. Here, even if you have not drawn the lines, even if you have not made the correct presentation, still if your answer is correct, then you will be getting full marks on that. So presentation has importance, but not the only thing, because you are going to be chartered accountants, not the accountants, right? I hope you understand this point very well, that you have to focus on the chartered accountancy and not only on the accountancy as a concept, right? Next thing that you have to understand here is that you are supposed to cover, you are supposed to get 50% in aggregate as well. Means what? That you are not supposed to pass only in the individual subjects, but also on the totality basis. Means कि अगर suppose आपको accounts paper में 45 मार्क मिल गए, आपको law के पेपर में से 60 मार्क्स मिल गए, आपको मैथ्स के पेपर में भी 60 मार्क मिल गए, and for economics you got 50 marks. I'm talking about an average student like me, you know. So if that is the kind of situation, you get 60 plus 60, 120 plus 45, 165 plus 50, that is 215 marks in total. If you check out the individual subjects, you get, you have already got 40% in individual subjects. You got 40% in individual subjects, you got 50% in aggregate, so you will be treated as passed. I'll just come ahead with that criteria. Suppose in the subject of accounts, you got 45 marks. In the subject of law, you got say 60 marks. In the subject of maths, I'm just writing a part of it, not the whole paper. And in the subject of eco, you got 50 marks. The total of that, if I do, the total of that is 215, and here the student will be declared as pass, right? But suppose the situation is that in the subject of accounts, the student has got 39 marks. In the subject of law, he has got 60 marks. And here ICAI ke liye 39 means 39. 39 do not get converted into 40. जाने दो बच्चे को बाकी सब सब्जेक्ट में अच्छे मार्क्स हैं, इसको 40 कर दो. That doesn't happen here. Here it is 50. And the total of this, if you will be observing, is 209. And even though you have got more than 50%, even though you have got cracked in the aggregate, but if you look at the subject of accounts, the student has got 39 marks, the student will be declared as failed. Why? Because the student has not scored full marks in the subject of accounts. ये क्या हो गया? right? So considering that fact, you have to understand that you have to score full on full in you have to complete both the criteria. So if the subject of accounts, now the suppose the situation is accounts has got 45, law the student has got 45, maths the student has got, I'm writing it in the same sequence in which the ICI takes the paper. Economics the student has got 45. If you look at the total of it now, it is 180. And because the total is 180, the student will be declared as fail, even if the student has cracked in all the subjects. तो यहाँ भैया आप CA कर रहे हो, इसे कहते हैं come again. No, come again means what? CA. If you pass in CA foundation, that's fantastic. If you don't, come again for CA foundation. If you pass in CA foundation, that's fantastic and go ahead. Come again for CA intermediate. You give the exam of CA intermediate, you pass in CA intermediate, fantastic. Come again for CA final. If you don't, come again for CA intermediate. If you pass in CA final, fantastic. Come again for membership. Because ICI is the only organization which is going to give you the membership and no other organization is going to give you that. Right. So for that purpose, this score CA is come again. So you need to keep coming again. But I would really tell you that you need to come again for the next level. Do not come again for the previous level. I hope the passing criteria is quite clear for everyone. How much did I score? In my CA foundation, I got 236. Well, anyways, what difference does it make what I got? I am a chartered accountant today. Whether I got 200 marks or 236, that doesn't make any difference. I have only one target in my mind, and that is I have to clear it. Right? I'm going to come into CA intermediate, CA final also. Don't worry on that part. So this was about the CA foundation. I hope this is quite crystal clear for everyone.
Yes, sir.
Now, if you pass in CA foundation, that you are going to pass, there is no doubt about it. Like GB sir keeps on saying, suppose you give CA foundation. Suppose you pass in CA intermediate. Suppose you pass your CA final. मतलब feeling तो ऐसी होती है ना, और उसके बाद में जो वो बोलते हैं ना कि suppose you get married, suppose you get a good wife and all that. तो उस समय feeling सच में ऐसी होती है internally. वो धूम पिक्चर देखी तुम लोगों ने? पहली धूम आई थी, अभिषेक बच्चन और आदित्य चोपड़ा वाली. वो बंदा एकदम से जैसे लड़की को देखता है, इमीडिएटली उसके साथ में बाइक आ जाती है, और फिर उसके बाद में उसके पास उसकी शादी हो जाती है, उसके बच्चे हो जाते हैं. मतलब हमारी फीलिंग वही होती है उस समय पे, जब वो जीबी सर ऐसे सपोज कर रहे होते हैं, सपोज यू गेट मैरिड एंड ऑल दैट. It's absolutely in the same way. No, he brings that scene in front of you. But anyways, that's what GB is all about, you know. Let's come back. Now, suppose you pass CA foundation in May of 2022. So July. Now, faster you pass, better it is, because your time of clearing chartered accountancy will decide whether you'll be having the honeymoon in Mauritius or Mahabaleshwar. Right? July of 2022, you'll have CA foundation result. Right? Now, once you crack it, once you get the result of the CA foundation in July of 2022, then your next journey will start, and that journey is of CA intermediate. Right? Now, the CA intermediate for you is going to come in the month of May of 2023. You'll have CA intermediate. Earlier, this used to be called as CA IPCC, and now it is called as CA intermediate. Now, this CA intermediate basically has two groups, not four subjects, but two groups. I'll just put it in this way. Primarily divided into two groups. Group 1 contains the subject of accounts, law, then DT oblique IDT, that is direct taxes and indirect taxes, and the subject of audit is there. No, audit is removed now. Costing is there in group 1. These are the subjects for group 1. And then please stop your comments now. Please stop your comments. I can have the multiple of the options there. You just try to understand what is more important for us. Then for group 2, because what I'm writing here is not for the sake of time pass, कि मेरा time pass हो जाना चाहिए, इसलिए मैं नहीं लिख रहा हूँ. This is for your understanding and your knowledge, because I am already aware about these all things, isn't it? For group 2, the subjects are advanced accounts. There is the subject of audit. There is a subject of EIS and SM, the Enterprise Information System and Strategic Management. And there is a subject of financial management and economics. This is macroeconomics, which is above the microeconomics that you're going to do at your CA foundation level. Now, this is how that particular subjects are being divided. Maths is not there at your next levels at all. In the subsequent levels of your CA curriculum, maths as a subject is not there, but you have got the application of maths. Financial management is a subject which is the pure application of the subject of mathematics only. So in the form of application, every subject will be there, but not in the form of the subject as such. The subject of law at CA intermediate level, that is more elaborated law. You have got business laws in the form of Negotiable Instrument Act. You have got the subject of the law the subject of law includes the labor laws in the form of Payment of Bonus Act, Payment of Wages Act. The subject of law includes the company law at length in detail. So these all kind of elaborations, the extensions of what you have done at your foundation level is there at your CA intermediate level. Criteria for passing is the passing criteria at CA intermediate level is same. That is, individual paper, you have to get 40%, and aggregate, you have to get 50%. Criteria is applied group wise or on totality basis. Means what? At the intermediate level, you have got the option of either appearing for group 1 or group 2 or both groups together. At the intermediate level, they do not ask you that you have to give all the papers together. You either appear for group 1 or you appear for group 2 or you appear for the whole of the CA intermediate together. Either which way. If you are appearing only for group 1, in that case, you will be required to, if you are appearing for only group 1, in that case, passing criteria will be applied only to group 1. If you are appearing only for group 2, the passing criteria will be applicable only for group 2. But if you are appearing for both groups together, then passing criteria will also be applied on combined basis. मतलब क्या? मतलब ये, सपोज आपने मई ऑफ 2023 में सिर्फ ग्रुप 1 की पढ़ाई की और ग्रुप 1 की एग्जाम लिखी. यू कैन, देयर इज नो प्रॉब्लम, आइदर ग्रुप 1 और ग्रुप 2, जैसे आप देना चाहो. अगर आपने सिर्फ ग्रुप 1 की पढ़ाई की और अगर आपने सिर्फ ग्रुप 1 का एग्जाम लिखा, तो आपका जो पासिंग क्राइटेरिया इंडिविजुअल 40% एंड 50% एग्रीगेट विल बी एप्लीकेबल ओनली फॉर ग्रुप 1. पर अगर आपने दोनों ग्रुप्स की पढ़ाई की और दोनों ग्रुप्स एक साथ लिखे, तो ये पासिंग क्राइटेरिया दोनों ग्रुप्स को एक साथ अप्लाई होगा. अब इसका फायदा क्या होता है? नंबर 1, द मेरिट रैंक्स व्हिच आर डिक्लेयर्ड बाय द ICAI एट CA इंटरमीडिएट लेवल. फाउंडेशन लेवल पे किसी भी तरह के मेरिट रैंक डिक्लेयर नहीं होते हैं. But at intermediate and final level, the ICAI declares 50 merit ranks. तो आपके जो मेरिट रैंक्स डिक्लेयर होते हैं, वो इसी बेसिस पे डिक्लेयर होते हैं कि आपने दोनों ग्रुप एक साथ दिए हैं या नहीं. आप ग्रुप 1 एक एग्जाम में पास कर रहे हो, आप ग्रुप 2 दूसरे एग्जाम में पास कर रहे हो, आपको कभी मेरिट रैंक डिक्लेयर नहीं होगा, इवन इफ योर मार्क्स आर बेटर देन द फर्स्ट रैंकर. राइट? आपने फर्स्ट टाइम ग्रुप 1 दिया 350 मार्क, सेकंड टाइम सेकंड ग्रुप दिया 350 मार्क, टोटल आपका 700 मार्क. इवन इफ योर एग्रीगेट ऑफ द टू ग्रुप्स इज 700, then also you won't be declared as merit ranker. Right? Which would be better, group 1 or 2, Sahil? This is not the right time to ask it, number 1. And number 2, whenever someone asks me this kind of question, I always say that you are not supposed to give one group at a time, you have to give both the groups at the same time. Why and how, that all you'll be able to understand over the period of time. एक उसका benefit जो मैंने आपको बताया अभी, that is the merit rank. और सेकंड, कुछ बंदे मेरे जैसे एवरेज स्टूडेंट होते हैं. फॉर दो स्टूडेंट्स, पासिंग जिनके लिए क्राइटेरिया होता है कि पास होंगे या नहीं यार, डिफिकल्टी एंड ऑल दैट. सो फॉर देम माय डियर फ्रेंड्स, प्लीज रिमेंबर, या आई गेव बोथ द ग्रुप्स, प्लीज रिमेंबर द पॉइंट दैट बोथ ग्रुप्स इज इंपॉर्टेंट. क्योंकि सपोज आपको फर्स्ट ग्रुप में मई 2023 में आपने बोथ ग्रुप दिया. First group में you get say 195 marks, and second group आपका थियरी अच्छा है, second group you got say 215 marks. यही अगर आपने इंडिविजुअली दिया होता तो फर्स्ट ग्रुप फेल डिक्लेयर होता, क्योंकि एग्रीगेट नॉट अचीव्ड. बट क्योंकि तो आपने दोनों ग्रुप एक साथ दिए, तो 195 plus 215 total is 410. The passing criteria is applied on totality basis. 410 means the student will be declared as passed. This is called as set off. आपने दोनों ग्रुप्स एक साथ दिए, इसीलिए आपका फायदा हुआ. Right? As far as the MCQs and all those concepts are concerned, those are changing on a continuous basis. Why? Because now the ICAI has brought the concept of case study based questions. They are making the changes in every criteria on a very regular basis. So जब तक तुम्हारी एग्जाम आएगी तब जो क्राइटेरिया अप्लाई होगा उसके हिसाब से हम लोग बात करेंगे. At this point in time, forget about the MCQs and all that. Recently, ICAI has brought that there are 6 papers out of 8 in which 30% is MCQ. Is it difficult to give both the groups together? No, Sanskriti, it's always easier to give both the groups together because it increases our confidence and it increases the chance of passing also. I have seen so many students who have cleared both the groups at the same time and got the merit ranks also. So it's always suggestible that one should go for both the groups. Well, anyways, this is not the right time. You are still starting with your CA foundation. I am just giving you these all information for the sake of knowledge. कि आपको पूरा टाइमलाइन पता रहना चाहिए कि आपने एग्जैक्टली करना क्या है, कितना समय लगने वाला है. Some of them must be feeling कि यार ये बंदा बहुत टाइम पास कर रहा है, but this is very much necessary to understand, क्योंकि आपको कोर्स पता है कि यार ये 4 साल का कोर्स है, 5 साल का कोर्स है, पर उसमें है क्या, उसमें डिटेल्स क्या है, कल को आपको कोई पूछ ले अगर थर्ड पार्टी, एंड एट दैट टाइम यू आर नॉट एबल टू सॉल्व गिव द आंसर टू दैट एज वेल. Yes. Group 1 subjects are connected to group 2 subjects. Yes, there is a huge interlinking between the subjects of both the groups. Huge interlinking, right? Well, the next point is that after clearing your CA intermediate, the next level that you have is the CA final level. So July of 2023, you'll have CA inter results, right? And once you are able to pass this, I assume that you have cracked it. After that, the real journey of chartered accountancy starts. के तो आप सिर्फ theoretical CA पढ़ रहे थे, अब आप practical CA पढ़ोगे, and that is of your articleship. So during this period, you have to do CA articles for 3 years, right? Now, as per the current scenario, so this will get completed when articles end in August 2026 is the time when your articleship ends. क्योंकि जुलाई में रिजल्ट आता है, आप लगभग अगस्त में आपके आर्टिकलशिप स्टार्ट कर लेते हो, तो August of 2026 is what your articleship will come to an end. As per the current norms of the ICAI, in the last 6 months of your articleship, you are allowed to give the CA final exam. So your CA final exam, according to that, assuming you have already passed in July of 2023, comes in May of 2026. CA final exam as per the current norms. सर ये ऐसे कैसे होगा, हमारी तो आर्टिकलशिप अभी तक चल रही है, फिर हम लोग CA फाइनल का एग्जाम कैसे देंगे? For that, as per the ICAI's rules, you get the leave from your boss and you are allowed to do the CA, you are allowed to give the CA final exam. Now CA final is also divided into 2 groups. Same as what you had in CA intermediate, you have group 1, you have group 2 in your CA intermediate, CA final also. Group 1 has 4 subjects, group 2 has 4 subjects. यहाँ भी आपके पास option वही होता है, whether you want to give one group at a time, whether you want to appear for both groups at a time, and the passing criteria remains same. It is either applicable to a particular group or it will be applicable to the combined groups if you have given both the groups together. Once you clear both the groups of your CA final, right? जब तक both groups clear नहीं होते हैं, तब तक you are not called chartered accountants. Once you clear both the groups of your CA final, then you are treated as the chartered accountant in the month of August of 2026. When July will be the month in which you'll be getting the results for your CA finals. And if you have cracked both the groups of CA final in May of 2026, then July or August of 2026 is the time when you will be called as what? The chartered accountant. And this chartered accountant has a different value in the market, because when you are called CA Manish P. Tardeja, people try to understand you in a different way as compared to what you are. Before inter 9 months की आर्टिकलशिप होती है क्या? नहीं, Tejas, that is basically for the people who are doing it after the graduation. You are doing your course after after 12th, and therefore for you that 9 months ka articleship before CA intermediate do not apply. What if I passed in group 1 but failed in group 2? Also in totality I failed, so I would be declared as pass or fail. No, in the group 1 you will be declared as pass. Individual subject wise and aggregate of group 1, if you have passed, you will be declared as pass. For group 2, you will be required to give it separately then. Right? In that case, you will be required to crack your group 2 independently. हाँ, wait, BCom पे भी आता हूं मैं. As far as your CA intermediate and CA final is concerned, वहां पे एक additional benefit दिया जाता है आपको. If in either of a subject you get 60 or above marks, but you're not able to crack on the other subjects, you're not able to crack on the other papers, or you're not able to get the aggregate, the total you have not got, in that case, the student is given the exemption in that particular subject for his subsequent exams. There are 3 attempts allowed with the exemption. But the criteria for exemption is what? If a student gets 60 or above marks in either of the subject in a single sitting for all the papers of a particular group, then that exemption is given. मतलब ये कि आप ऐसा नहीं कर सकते हो कि फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट में आपने अकाउंट्स में 60 मार्क ले लिए, सेकंड अटेम्प्ट में आपने लॉ में 60 मार्क्स ले लिए, फिर आप वो DT IDT में 60 मार्क लोगे. दिस वे यू कैन नॉट पास. इन अ सिंगल सिटिंग जब आप चारों पेपर एक साथ देते हो, उस अटेम्प्ट में अगर आपको किसी भी पेपर में, चाहे वो 2 पेपर क्यों ना हो, जिस किसी भी पेपर में आपको 60 या उससे ज्यादा मार्क्स मिले हैं, तो दैट पेपर इज कंसीडर्ड एज एग्जाम्ड इन द सब्सिक्वेंट एग्जाम. If when you are re-attempting for the exam, at that time you are not required to appear for the exempted paper. और वो उस पेपर के टोटलिटी में जब आपका वो 200 का एग्रीगेट गिना जाता है, तो उसमें 60 ही गिने जाते हैं, कम नहीं गिने जाते हैं. राइट? सीए फाउंडेशन में ये क्राइटेरिया अवेलेबल नहीं है. This is applicable at CA intermediate and final. Right? Yes. What in case of both? No, even in both groups. See, this is applicable group wise. कि आप उस पर्टिकुलर ग्रुप के सारे पेपर क्लियर कर रहे हो या नहीं. अंडरस्टैंड, ऑब्जर्व. सपोज एग्जाम्शन का क्राइटेरिया समझा रहा हूं मैं अभी. How the exemption is given. Group 1, accounts, you get say 62 marks. Law, you get 42 marks. In the subject of costing, you get, let's say, 35 marks. In the subject of DT, IDT, you get, say, 55 marks. So the total of this is what? Total of this is 80, 90, 132, and 194. Correct? Now in this case, the student has failed in costing as well as total. So student will be declared as failed. But because he has got more than 60 marks or 60 or above marks in the subject of accounts, so the student will be given accounts exempt. Now this is at CA intermediate level, not at CA foundation level. All right? The student's account will be treated as exempt. मतलब subsequent exam जब लिखने जाएगा, तो he'll be required to appear for only 3 papers, not all 4. And in those 3 papers put together, he has to get only 138 marks in total. तीनों पेपर्स का मिला के 138 मार्क्स मिलना है. क्यों? कि अकाउंट्स में ऑलरेडी 62 मिल चुके हैं. तो अगर बाकी तीनों पेपर में 138 मिल जाते हैं, तो 138 plus 62 it will be passed. Right? Hetvi, many of them are asking for BCom. I'll just come to that point of BCom. Just wait. Let me complete the CA course first. Articleship पे भी आता हूं मैं. Is this point right? Exemption समझ में आया? हाँ. अगर next level में आपको किसी सब्जेक्ट में, सपोज कॉस्टिंग में 65 मार्क्स मिल जाते हैं, but you appeared only for 3 papers or not, in that case costing won't be treated as exempt if you have not been able to crack all the remaining papers, right? So this is applicable only when you are appearing for all the papers of that group together. ऐसा ही अगर आपका ग्रुप 2 में भी कोई पेपर में 60 या उससे ज्यादा मार्क्स मिल जाते हैं तो that will also be treated as exempt. The exemption is allowed to be carried only for 3 attempts, not more than that. ये हो गया exemption के बारे में. अब articleship, whether for the purpose of articleship, I should be giving both the groups or I should be giving one group. Articleship can be started by passing only one group also, whether it is group 1 or group 2 or both groups. In either which way you can start with your articleship. However, the third advantage of giving both the groups together at CA intermediate level is, if you want to do the articleship at good places, the places where they are having the fantastic international companies as their audit clients, then you will be required to do the articleship at the larger places. For that purpose, both groups cleared is the criteria. There are multiple of the companies, we call those as big fours. First time पूरे fail हो गए और दूसरे में exemption लगे तो yes, you can get that. क्यों ऐसे कर रहा है प्रसाद? Why you are thinking of failing? Why you are thinking only for exemption? Think of passing. If a student gets 200 in group 1 and 190 in group 2, in that case उसकी बहुत बड़ी बदकिस्मती है. In that case, he'll be required to give group 2 at a later point. Well, anyways, you are going more into CA intermediate. I have given this as an information. Do not go into the details. How are the company decided? Do we need to choose it? Yes, you have to choose. You have to go and give the interviews and then your articleship starts. These all things will come only when you pass your CA intermediate, right? हाँ, कौन सी फॉर्म बेटर, ये सारी चीजें मैं अभी आंसर नहीं दूंगा. These all answers will be coming at a later point in time. क्योंकि सारी चीजें मतलब अभी तक हमने फाउंडेशन का अकाउंट्स भी स्टार्ट नहीं किया एंड यू आर फोकसिंग ऑन व्हाट. Well, that's good. That's good. You need to have the long-term vision, but does not mean you should get distracted with that. That's a kind of distraction, and that's why I'm avoiding it. Avoiding to discuss the things like that. Well, anyways, the next important point in here is, the next very important point to be discussed in here is that at your 12th, you are doing CA foundation. Whether BCom is necessary for the purpose of doing CA course. This is a very important question. And a very simple, clear, direct answer to that is no. For the purpose of chartered accountancy, for the purpose of becoming CA, you need not be a graduate. In fact, ICAI has recently got the MOU signed with many of the universities. The UGC grant, the University Grant Commission has declared that the CA course is considered as a post-graduation course. Once you are a chartered accountant, you are a postgraduate. तो अब सवाल ये बनता है कि BCom करना जरूरी है क्या? Answer is no. Even after that, people do it. Why? Because it's a fallback kind of option. अगर सपोज कहीं कुछ गड़बड़ हो जाती है तो उस समय पे कुछ तो हाथ में होना चाहिए. If you want to do the courses like MBA or some other courses where graduation is necessary, for that purpose people do the graduation in the form of BCom. So it's only a fallback option. वैसे भी CA करते करते जब आप CA इंटरमीडिएट फाइनल में आ जाते हो तो BCom तो खेलते कूदते हो जाएगा. उसके बारे में आपको चिंता करने की बिल्कुल भी किसी भी तरह की आवश्यकता नहीं है. So don't worry on that BCom factor, right? Yes, I am a graduate I am a postgraduate in commerce, MCom हूं मैं, but BBA, BBM, IB, something like that. Do not do the fancy courses. There is no need of. Those will trouble you in your CA course. After your 12th standard, you're only supposed to do BCom, right? So this is about the whole course. July of 2026 is our targeted date when those two alphabets will be prefixed to our name and we will be called as what? CA ... Right? What is the highest marks that in a paper of CA foundation one can score? 100. That's the highest that you can get, Adarsh, right? Accounts, we have the student who has got 98. Till now, I have seen 98 in total. Darshan, you need to see this recording. I'm going to upload it. You need to see this recording. That will be more better as compared to me explaining the things again, right? So that is it for the day from me. If you have any kind of questions related to CA Foundation, then you can ask it. Otherwise, I'll just call off the session. Yes, if any one of you. I hope this particular presentation worked well for you and you people understood the things as expected. In the next session, we are going to start with the subject of accounts, right? That is it for the day. Thank you very much.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes, Satej, go ahead.
Sir, so you will be teaching accounts, right?
Yep.
So then what will ADJ sir will be teaching?
Accounts.
It's like
हम लोग topics divide करते हैं आपस में.
Okay.
Yep.
So we'll be starting with which chapter, by the way? First, second.
Accounting process.
Second chapter.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. That's it. FY, SY, and TY. So we have to do with CA intermediate final. Yes, Lavina, absolutely correct. Last date for CA foundation registration. You have, for you, the last date for CA foundation registration is 31st of December 2021. So need not worry a lot. I'll be taking the session on that. मैं combined session लेना चाहता हूँ इसलिए मैं रुका हुआ हूँ. Right? So that's it. Thank you. Thank you very much.